September 2018. Abigail is a personal therapist and loving mother. She's the kind of person to always put others' needs above her own. But after more than 25 years together, her marriage to Bruce has hit a rocky patch. If they don't put in the work soon, it could mean the end of their relationship. They decide to spend a week alone together on a Caribbean cruise, with the idea that getting away could be just what they need to help them work through their troubles.
Relationships are tough. When you've been with someone for a long time, sometimes it really helps to just get away, just the two of you, and rediscover what you fell in love with in the first place.
They decide to go on a cruise to give them some time away from everyone else. What starts as an attempt to reignite the spark of their marriage will put an end to it forever. Abigail has built a life around helping the next generation. She's a loving mother and a personal therapist. Even with her own children all grown up, she can't help but want to do everything possible for them every time she gets a chance.
It takes a special type of person to be a personal therapist, someone who's willing to give of themselves and help others with their problems.
Abigail has helped many people over the years. Her dedication to her work inspires her son to pursue a career as a therapist as well. Unfortunately, not all of Abigail's relationships are quite as strong as those with her adult children. In recent times, a rift has been forming between herself and Bruce, her husband of 25 years.
Abigail and Bruce have been married for 25 years, a very long time. People get set in their ways and focus on the things that bring them happiness, and they forget to put the time into their relationships.
Abigail and Bruce come up with the plan to work on their marriage. The couple will go on a week-long Caribbean cruise where it'll be just the two of them, giving them the getaway that they might need. September, the time comes for Abigail and Bruce to head off on their Caribbean adventure.
Sometimes people just need to get away. Just even a week away together with no responsibilities, a different routine, can have a huge positive impact on a relationship.
When Abigail says goodbye to her children, she's extra affectionate. She acts in a way that has both of her children wondering if something might be wrong. Her actions don't seem to match with someone who will be back in just a week. The cruise sets sail from Florida with the couple on board, along with over 3,500 other guests and 1,300 crew members.
By all accounts, Abigail and Bruce's first few days on the cruise were great, and they were enjoying being with each other.
The cruise ship Abigail and Bruce have chosen for their trip is filled with exciting and fun opportunities to enjoy live music, shopping, nightlife, restaurants, and even an onboard casino. It's the perfect playground for a couple looking to rekindle their romance, even if they don't have the chance to take it all in.
Something changed on the fourth day of the cruise. It may have been something small, or it may have been something that's been going on for a while. We really don't know.
The couple explode into a volatile fight on the casino floor. Witnesses report that the fight breaks out at approximately 10:30 in the evening. What could possibly have brought them to such a point?
While getting away together may seem like a great idea, if you already have problems in the relationship, it can spell disaster. It can heighten the conflict that was simmering below the surface all along.
Late that night, Abigail is outside of the casino on deck 18, the top level of the cruise ship. At approximately 4 in the morning, the sound of shattering windows can be heard on deck 9. Something or someone crashes down Abigail drops 9 stories from deck 18 to deck 9. But did she fall, or was someone else involved? When Abigail and Bruce feel their 25-year marriage becoming strained, they make the decision to take time to work on it. They decide that their best option is to go off on a week-long cruise where they can escape from their usual routine.
Sometimes people just need to get away. Just even a week away together with no responsibilities, a different routine, can have a huge positive impact on a relationship.
While it seems their plan may be working at first, it's met with an early end. While in the casino on the 4th night of their cruise, the couple break out into a massive fight. The night continues on, only to end with Abigail becoming the victim in a tragic fall from 9 stories up. Abigail is killed instantly.
There's likely nothing more disturbing than coming across a dead body.
It must have been a very, very upsetting and bloody scene for individuals to be a part of.
What we know in this case is that a loud noise caused a commotion, which resulted in body being discovered almost immediately.
Abigail's broken body, covered in glass and blood, has turned the lower deck into a nightmarish scene. The captain becomes fully aware of the situation before too long. Around 4:30 a.m., the captain orders passengers to stay off Deck 9 for their own safety. One passenger with the cabin next to Deck 9 has discovered that they have a clear view of the tragedy right outside their window. The entire gory scene just on the other side of a pane of glass.
Imagine what this passenger is going through. They're 4 days into their vacation, and now all of a sudden it feels like they're plunged into a horror movie. They look outside their window and they see a dead body. Who expects that on a cruise?
The crew put up yellow tape to cordon off the area. They need to keep passengers from seeing what happened.
Preservation of the scene is very important, especially in an incident such as this. We would want to cordon off all of the area where we had the suspected balcony when we look up the fall from height within that area to see if there's any clues or any items that the deceased might have left behind. Also, the area which in her body is lying.
After such a tragic event, if a captain is able to, they try to have the victim identified. so that they may notify whomever they may be traveling with.
One of the first things that occurs in an investigation like this is the notification of the next of kin. And very often, information can be obtained while making that notification, the reaction of the person being notified, learning about where they may have last been in contact with the victim. These are all things that go to developing a timeline so that we can investigate this completely.
Could Bruce have the answers about what happened to Abigail that night? An anonymous passenger speaks of having witnessed Abigail struggling with a muscular man right before her fall. They claim to have seen this man suddenly begin choking her. The alleged man was then seen pushing Abigail over the railing after their struggle subsides. But where was Bruce at the time of the fall? Did he see any of this supposed attack? Or worse, could he have been the muscular man that the witness saw? Bruce says that he didn't see any of what could have happened to Abigail. He claims to have been in the bathroom at the time of the fall.
One of the most difficult things is to be confronted with an investigation like this and have to tell the investigator that you were alone and there's nobody that can provide an alibi for you. There's nobody that saw you doing what you were doing. And the fact of the matter is, when we go about our daily business, there are vast portions of our day where we do things without somebody witnessing it. This isn't always cause for concern in an investigation, just because somebody doesn't have an alibi.
We know that the two of them fought in the casino mere hours before Abigail's fatal fall. But there are too many unknowns. What even brought on their fight in the first place? Could their fight have continued even later into the night? Was it still going on when the witness claims to have seen Abigail being attacked and then thrown over the railing? The captain makes another announcement as the cruise ship docks in Aruba. The passengers are informed that local authorities are coming aboard and that no one is to leave while the investigation is taking place. The next day, the local Aruban police and the FBI board the cruise ship as they look to uncover what really caused Abigail's deadly plummet. Abigail is a loving mother and caring wife, a personal therapist for much of her adult life. She's dedicated to making those around her feel better. But it has come with a price. Bruce and Abigail have grown apart. A noticeable rift in their marriage has formed. But Abigail is determined to mend their relationship. When Bruce suggests they go on a cruise, she eagerly agrees, seeing this as the perfect opportunity to recapture what they once had together. When the couple eventually depart for their cruise, both of their children notice how strange Abigail is acting. On the fourth night of the cruise, the couple is seen having a huge fight in the ship's casino.
Something changed on the fourth day of the cruise. It may have been something small, or it may have been something that's been going on for a while. We really don't know.
Later that night, one passenger alleges to have seen a muscular man choking Abigail before throwing her over the railing. The cruise ship docks in Aruba, where local authorities, as well as the FBI, begin looking into the cause of the incident. With the authorities on board, the captain agrees to cooperate fully to help with their investigations. Announcements continue throughout the day, warning passengers of the investigations taking place aboard the ship.
Local authorities are boarding.
The Occupational Safety and Health Administration sets a minimum height for cruise ship railings to be 42 inches. A person's center of gravity tends to be at the midpoint of their body. A person standing 6 feet in stature would therefore have a center of gravity around the 3-foot mark. A cruise ship railing with a height of 4 feet would be difficult to accidentally fall over, even for a very tall person. But could the muscular man, apparently spotted by another passenger, have thrown Abigail overboard?
There may be fingerprints on those ledges that indicate that if there was a grip handle from the individual or if there was another person's.
Because of the height, it becomes incredibly unlikely that a person would fall purely by accident. The local Aruban police take Abigail's body off the cruise ship in order to perform their own autopsy.
An autopsy may not seem necessary when investigating the death of somebody who's fallen from a great height. However, the results of the autopsy may reveal that an injury is present which is not consistent with that fall. And that may point us in a different direction altogether.
The investigating parties end up in one of the ship's dining rooms, where they're able to set up a kind of base camp for their time on the ship and share information that may benefit their investigations. The local Aruban police are able to perform an autopsy. They rule that Abigail's death has not occurred by natural causes.
Perhaps maybe she had already died prior to the fall. We could look for strangulation marks, perhaps that she was already unconscious before she fell.
Is it possible Abigail could have accidentally fallen from such a height? Witnesses aboard the ship describe seeing a man being hauled off by local police. Later reports confirm that it is, in fact, Bruce who leaves with them.
Sometimes anger can lead us to do things we wouldn't ordinarily do. We know that they were getting very upset at each other throughout the cruise, and it's possible that the fight inside the casino led directly to her fall.
With Bruce's apparent arrest, it could be a sign that this investigation is already coming to a close. When Abigail and Bruce feel their relationship has become strained, the two decide to go on a cruise together to try to help. What may have started as a nice, relaxing vacation transforms into a tragedy when Abigail is found having fallen 9 stories. As 2 groups of investigators go on board the ship, passengers allege to see Bruce being hauled off the ship by local police. Bruce claims he was in the bathroom at the time when Abigail is believed to have gone over the rail. But is it possible that something has driven him to choose to get rid of his wife once and for all?
Most murders are perpetrated by someone the victim knew or was close to, so it only stands to reason that Bruce would be the main suspect in this case.
After witnesses report seeing Bruce being hauled off from the ship, he's questioned by the authorities.
Often in the course of an investigation, the suspects themselves, understandably, wouldn't necessarily be forthcoming with information. However, the media are often able to find people who are willing to provide information about the suspects' lives.
When the media is able to speak to Abigail's children, the story of what happens before the cruise begins to take shape. Abigail tells her daughter that she, quote, did not want to go. The confession is described as being as though Abigail knew something was going to happen to her. Abigail's son tells of a similar, though less obvious, moment. Something's off in the way she says goodbye just before she leaves on the cruise. He thinks back to the extra tight hug she gives him before leaving, believing it could have been a sign.
With how Abigail acted before she left on the cruise, it almost seems like she knew something bad was going to happen to her. Since most murders are committed by people we know or are close to, and Bruce was the only one on the ship who knew Abigail, it stands to reason that he would be the main person the police are looking at.
But why might Bruce have wanted to hurt Abigail? What could have possibly pushed him to such extreme measures? Is the fight in the casino a one-time event? Or is it possible that it could be a glimpse into past fights they've had at home? It's up to the Aruban police and the FBI to get all the answers they can from Bruce and find out the truth. With the lack of other credible witnesses to question, they have their work cut out for them. Abigail and Bruce take a cruise together to try to help their marriage.
By all accounts, Abigail and Bruce's first few days on the cruise were great, and they were enjoying being with each other.
But a mysterious incident leads to Abigail falling to her death from the top deck of the cruise ship. Local Aruban police and the FBI board the ship to investigate Abigail's fall. Only to have witnesses say they hauled Bruce off the cruise ship as they left. Abigail's children reveal how scared she acts before leaving on the cruise. Her actions have them wondering if she knew that something or someone was coming for her on the cruise. Is it possible that her attacker was someone she knew, someone she's been close to the entire time? As the media begins to get answers from the authorities about what has been going on with the case, many of the original reports are corrected. The local police confirmed that Bruce was never hauled off in the way that witnesses claimed to see. He was brought off of the cruise ship with them, but he went of his own free will to try to help them find out what could have happened to Abigail.
So one of the things that investigators need to be cognizant of is that witnesses bring their own biases to their stories.
With this many people on board, there should be more than a few reliable witness accounts. But investigators will soon find out that in this instance, concrete facts are hard to come by.
They may have heard rumors, they may have seen things out of context. Just because they heard one little piece of information and passed it amongst themselves. Police need to be aware of the fact that without evidence, the witness testimony in and of itself isn't the entire investigation.
Bruce is questioned by the police, but it's in order to help the police in their investigation, not because he's seen as a suspect in the case.
If Bruce isn't the main suspect, it leaves the case wide open. If not him, who else on the ship had a possible motive to kill her?
With Bruce officially not a suspect, who was the muscular man a witness claims to have seen attack her on the deck? on a ship with nearly 5,000 people between the passengers and the crew. Is it possible that there is someone who would have a motive to attack her? Such a high volume of people could make the process of combing through them all nearly impossible. And any one of them could have had the means to get away with it. But what reason could they have had for the attack?
Sometimes people have secrets. What happened to Abigail could have been the result of a random attack. Just someone who was really angry and saw her at the wrong time. Unfortunately, in a case like this, we often don't have any answers.
As the FBI's investigation continues, they look deeper into the witness account of Abigail's fall. They are soon able to discredit the witness entirely, leaving no evidence that Abigail was attacked by anyone, let alone a muscular man. But with no evidence of an attack, what could have happened to her? When Abigail and Bruce feel their relationship has become strained, the two decide to go on a cruise together to try to help. What may have started as a nice, relaxing vacation transforms into a tragedy. As two groups of investigators go on board the ship, witnesses report seeing Bruce being hauled off. He's questioned by the authorities.
Witnesses bring their own biases to their stories. Police need to be aware of the fact that without evidence, the witness testimony in and of itself isn't the entire investigation.
The local police confirmed that Bruce was never hauled off in the way the witnesses claimed to see. He was brought off of the cruise ship with them, but he went of his own free will to try to help them find out what could have happened to Abigail.
If Bruce isn't the main suspect, it leaves the case wide open.
After doing what he can to assist the police in Aruba, Bruce is able to return home to his family. After the events of the cruise, Abigail is remembered by her family and the people she helped over the years. The cruise was meant to bring Abigail and Bruce closer together. To mend a rift that had been forming recently after their 25 years of marriage. But circumstances bring both their cruise and their marriage to an early end. Because Abigail's body is taken off the ship for an autopsy in Aruba, the family is left with a large bill that they'll have to pay in order to have her brought back to America for a funeral. The extra expense only serves to add further complications to an already difficult situation.
Funerals are expensive, as we all know. The added cost of repatriating their human remains from another country, the costs skyrocket, and most people can't afford to do that.
A crowdfunding campaign is set up to assist the family in raising the necessary amount. The funding campaign is successful, and Abigail is laid to rest, providing the family with some peace. While the family now does their best to grieve Abigail's death, reporters call non-stop, looking for answers to what might have happened. Bruce can't stop himself from reliving their final angry words in the ship's casino and believes Abigail's death will haunt him forever.
Sadly, in cases like this, there may not be any answers to find. At least we have the comfort of knowing that her memory will live on in the lives of those she touched.
There have been no official updates about the case. While the investigation is still ongoing, the chances of ever knowing exactly what happened shrinks as more time passes. Although there may never be answers to what caused Abigail's death, the way she lived her life by always putting others first inspires her children to follow her example and keeps her memory alive.